Brian Harman does not lead the Open, ladies and gentlemen. Relax. It's the lesser of two evils. Scottie Scheffler holds a one-shot lead after 36 holes on 10 under par after a sensational round of 64 at Royal Portrush. Leads by one ahead of Matthew Fitzpatrick. And this is the Irish Golfer Podcast. We're coming to you live from the Irish Golfer House, nearly as famous as the Love Island Villa at this stage. It's Ronan McNamara here, and I'm joined by Mark McGowan after an eventful Friday. It took a long time to get going, but the morning might have been quiet, but it was a sensational afternoon, both good and bad. Mark, how are things?
Very good, Ronan. Very good. I mean, yeah, it is a little bit like the Love Island house, except there's probably been more people have departed here this week than doing from the Love Island house. But we're down to it's just the two of us. We're holding the fort here. Boots on the ground. That's what it's all about.
It's a little lonely in here.
Well, speak for yourself. I thought we were having a great time. I thought we were bonding.
No. Oh, we are. We put the Meath Donegal result from last weekend behind us, but we have to. There's only one place to start, and that's Peter Finnan's fall from grace. Literally a fall from grace.
Yeah, I mean, I've still got my requests out there to every single camera operator in Royal Portrush to try and see if maybe they happen to catch footage of it. But yeah, basically, Peter Finnan took a big fall down a hill in Portrush yesterday. It wasn't at all funny.
No, it wasn't. We helped him up straight away. Straight away, we helped him up. But no, Pete has unfortunately sprained his ankle. God love him. And if anyone sees him out and about around the Naas area over the next couple of weeks, wish him well. Like, text, email us at Ronan at irishgolfer.ie, McGowan at irishgolfer.ie. Get your sympathies in. We'll document his long journey back to recovery.
In fairness, he did actually sprain his ankle pretty badly.
He did.
But that still didn't take away from quite exactly how funny it was. So
no. We wish Pete well. It's funny. I had been doing podcast notes for this, and I thought I had it all sorted, and I was going to start with Rory McIlroy and Scottie Scheffler, and is 7 shots too much to give to Scheffler? But there's a complete change of plan here. Shane Lowry, 12th hole.
It is the only place to start, really, isn't it?
So Lowry was given a 2-shot penalty on the 12th for taking a practice swing, and according to the replays, this one slow-mo angle zoomed in, and his club head clips one of those firm, blades of grass that you get in the fescue. And it appears, if you zoom in quite close, the fescue is growing kind of in an arched way, and the root nearly starts underneath the ball. So even though his club head is a good, what would we say, 15, 16 inches away from the ball?
Yeah,
if not more.
It look like on the TV footage they show, I mean, it looks quite clearly as though it's 8-9 inches away. But again, angles are always deceptive in this. So, I mean, it's at the very least 8-9 inches away from the ball. More than likely, it's probably closer to 18 inches.
It's incredibly harsh, because even I've watched the replay, it must be 20 times at this stage. And at some stage, I do see the ball move. Then other times I don't. And Larry obviously didn't see it move. Like, he was looking directly at the ball when he takes this practice swing. And there just has to be some sort of room for human error or common sense or something. It's incredibly harsh. And we were talking to, a few of the journalists there on site at Royal Portrush, and we were saying if he wasn't part of a TV group or a feature group, this thing goes unnoticed and he makes a 5. Instead, he made a 7, and it turned a pretty well-worked par into a double bogey on the par 5 12th, and instead of being 2 under par, 8 shots behind Scottie Scheffler, which, to be fair, is more or less out of contention, clinging on to the fringes of contention at best. Now he's level par, snuck into the cup by 1. Played very well the last 4 holes as well. He was told on the 15th, walking up the 15th fairway, that he might be penalised 2 shots. So to overcome that And birdie 15 and close with 3 pars was pretty impressive, but it's devastating for him.
It is devastating for him, absolutely. And it is extremely harsh. Look, I'm sure at this point, anybody listening to this podcast has already seen the footage and probably seen the footage multiple times and probably analyzed it to the same extent that we have. But the movement is clear, but the movement is minuscule.
He doesn't gain an advantage.
He definitely doesn't gain an advantage. In fact, he actually, like, the ball nestles down a touch. So it's the opposite of an advantage. But as Shane had said himself, and like he was in fairness to him, we all weren't sure exactly what way his if he would even talk to the media after the round. It wouldn't be the first time that he gave us the swerve, but in fairness to him, he came out and he was in as good a spirits as you could possibly be, having just been told that your round of 70 has become a 72. It was like it was extremely harsh on him, but he was really good about it. But as he said, what they said to him was that this was the only angle they had of it. This was the only viewing they had was from a TV camera, zoomed close in on the ball. And in that zoomed in thing, like the ball effectively is like the size of a basketball whenever it's zoomed in that far. And even then you can see it move, but it's you can barely see it move. Like, how, yes, as you said, if he's not in the TV grip and if the TV camera isn't zoomed in on that ball, nobody is any the wiser to that, Shane included. The only time Shane found out about it was whenever the guy came up to him on 15 and said it. It's they need to do something about this, because it seems very spurious evidence to be giving somebody a 2-shot penalty on.
Oh, it's incredibly harsh. Even if he was given a 1-shot penalty, it's no disaster. But 2 shots is so much to overcome during a round of golf.
I mean, and like as he told us again, he was. I mean, this happened on 12. He was informed about it on 15. When he's playing 15, he's thinking, if I can birdie 3 of these last 4 holes, then I'm right there. I'm right there in the tournament. As it happens, Scottie Scheffler goes and birdies 2 of the 3 or whatever it was, and extended his lead. And Shane gets the notification that he's basically you're on the cut line now. Like at the time Shane would have been 1 under. The 2-shot penalty, which they told him it's more than likely going to be a 2-shot penalty, that put him to 1 over, which was right where the cut line was. Now the cut line did slip back to +2, but he wasn't knowing that was going to happen. He suddenly goes from thinking, I can a couple of birdies here and I'm in contention, to thinking, I cannot afford to make a mistake here or I'm going home. And I mean, defending this tournament, okay, yeah, he's not the defending Open champion, but he's the defending course champion. Defending this championship means so much to him. And if he was to go home after 36 holes because of something like that, I mean, it would be an absolute disaster.
It would have been terrible, and it would have been heartbreaking. That's why it is so admirable the way he took it in front of the press, and obviously how he performed over those last 4 holes. But it seems like the RNA had their decision made. He was going to be brought in, told, look, you're getting penalised 2 shots here. Like, it is just incredibly harsh, because Lowry is he's no cheat. And even to think about that is very, very extreme. Like, if he had thought he'd moved that golf ball, he calls a penalty on himself.
Very extreme, as far from one as you get. I mean, there are people in the field without naming names who, in the same situation, would have like even if they knew the ball had moved, would have like completely ignored it, and B would have like stood their ground and refused to take the penalty or whatever. I mean, Shane did none of that. Yeah, it's just really disappointing that we're at a point in the game where if you can't see something with the naked eye, then effectively that it should be that thing didn't really happen.
Well, you say that, and the RNA released a statement. They obviously said there's 3 things in the rules that require that you have to assess in these situations. Did the ball leave its original position, come to rest and under a spot? 2, was the ball's movement to another spot discernible to the naked eye? And 3, if the ball did come to rest on another spot and the movement was discernible to the naked eye, is it known or visibly certain that the player's actions caused the ball to move? And then they talk a lot about another stuff. But then there's one paragraph here. The RNA state the naked eye test is satisfied whether or not the player was looking at the ball when it moved. It was clear that the ball moved immediately after the player's club touched foliage close to the ball during a practice swing, and that the player's actions caused the ball to move. Well, I have serious issues with that paragraph. One, Lowry was looking at the ball, so clearly it wasn't visible to the naked eye that the golf ball moved. The player, he touched foliage, but yeah, it is close to the ball, but he's a good 18, 20 inches away.
Yeah, it would be careless if you took a practice swing that was millimeters from the ball.
But he's not. The replay shows he's not.
That's what I'm saying. No, it's like he did due diligence there and did it well away from the ball. I mean, there's an awful lot of. I mean, yes, the ball did move. We agree on that. Yes, Shane caused the ball to move. So yes, by the letter of the law, it is a penalty.
We're going to talk about VAR here now, but letter of the law.
Is there daylight? Was there daylight between the last man? Yeah, look, it's just very disappointing, and it's very disappointing that
it's the fact that it's a 2-shot penalty that makes it incredibly harsh. Like if the RNA said in these circumstances a 1-stroke penalty would have been given if the ball was replaced, but Larry hasn't seen the ball move, and because he played the ball from its new position, he's penalised 2 strokes. There's no lenience for, I suppose, ignorance in a word. Like there's no lenience for the fact he just didn't see it. Like if he was penalised 1 shot, you could get over it.
Yeah, and again we go back to the fact that the camera was zoomed in on it. The footage you're seeing on, like, I mean, all you can see are Shane's ankles, the club, and the ball. That's like we're zoomed in that far, like, and that is definitely not looking through the naked human eye.
Oh, no chance. And even when, in previous instances when TV has zoomed in, there have been a lot clearer examples of when a ball has been moved, and this just is not one of them. He's incredibly unlucky, and the rules are the rules. And he said himself he didn't really fight his corner. He's like, look, the ball has moved. Now it's not moved by much, but it has moved. I'm not going to argue my case and be accused of being a cheat. And he's not a cheat, and
that's it. I mean, that's like he was also handcuffed in that regard. That in that, as much as you probably want to argue your case in that scenario and say is like, well, I mean, I was looking at it, I didn't see it move.
And the fact there's only one replay.
Yeah.
If there's another replay from a different angle that you can't see the ball move, he has a case.
Yeah. But so he was forced to, and he was, look, his good name has been, his as a man of honor and everything like that. That he might have cursed once or twice throughout the round, which might go down well in other spots. But at the same time, as a man who upholds the rules of the game, like, his honor is fully intact, and fair play to him on that. Like,
he took it really well in front of the press. Like, he would have been well within his rights to, not speak to us and then just go off on one. Like, you could see the devastation when he walked out of the scorer's hut, and he talked to his coach and talked to his manager as well.
It would have been understandable if he did that. It probably would have been a bad move because, you're kicking the can down the road. You're giving people the opportunity to speculate and all that sort of stuff. So he definitely did the right thing by doing the media duties. But I'm just saying it would have been understandable if he didn't.
Yeah, definitely. Like, now, bad day for Strixon. This pod is brought to you by Cleveland Strixon. Like, looking at Lowry, his chances are gone. He wouldn't dare admit it, but his chances were hanging by a thread anyway.
Yeah,
but his chances are gone now, which is a shame because he plays just as good around the golf as Scottie Scheffler did, but as has been the story of the year really, and probably since he won at Wentworth in 2022, just can't get the putts.
Yeah, he did. I mean, this is probably a day where he had a lot of really good putts that just didn't drop. You get there have been days in the past where Shane has said, was hit the ball really well, giving himself lots of really good chances, and hit quite bad putts. I think today wasn't one of those. I think it was just a day where he got a lot of bad luck. When he missed the fairway, he found himself in awkward enough spots. When he made a few birdies, but a lot of the times he had a lot of putts that burned the edge. There were good putts. You look, when you see the replays, the ball's rolling end over end. So he's hit it on exactly the line that he wants to hit it on. The pace is right. It just doesn't break the way he expects it to, and you're talking millimeters. It could very easily have been standing there at 6 under today when he was talking with us. As it happens, he was back at level par because of the 2-shot penalty and because of a few putts not dropping.
Yeah, it's the fine margins really, and he came obviously to the mix zone after his round and after the penalty, and we're just going to play that for you now. And look, we think he took it pretty well. It'd be interesting to know what you think, but here's Larry talking to the media after a 2-shot penalty at the end of round 2.
Thanks a million for doing this, Shane. We just seen obviously the ruling, so you played just so beautifully today. You didn't deserve that.
No.
So tell us just exactly what happened from your perspective.
Well, I didn't know anything happened until walking up to 15 fairway, and then rules official come over and told me that there's a possibility the ball moved in the 12th to my second shot, and I said I've asked him how many shot penalty is that if it did, and he said 2. So obviously then feel like I'm on the cut mark then, which is not very nice, and I felt like I played well on the way in, and then just obviously waited to see. And I mean, yeah, I was in there with the rules official and wasn't arguing my case, but I'm disappointed that they don't have more camera angles on it. The one zoomed in slow motion, they're trying to tell me if it doesn't move from the naked eye, if you don't see it moving, it didn't move. I told them I definitely was looking down towards the ball as I was taking that practice swing, and I didn't see it move. So, but I had to take the penalty because, I'm still not sure, to be honest, whether it was or not, but I had to take the penalty because I can't have my name talked about or tossed around like that. And I just, I get on with it. It's obviously very disappointing. I felt like I played really, really well today. And yeah, that's hard to take. It's but look, I'll just have to dust myself off and get out there tomorrow and give it a go.
Look, you were pretty much on the fringes of contention at 2 under par, and now you're back, close to where the cup mark is on level par. But you play. I know. I understand that. But just the fact that you had to deal with this after the rules official spoke to you, I think on the 15th, but you still kept your concentration and your composure to make sure you made the cut. That has to be something you have to take out.
Yeah, I played great on the way in. I hit some nice shots and left on the lip on 16 and 18. I missed a good chance on 17. So it could have been different, but look, it's a disappointing thing to happen to me. But that's golf. onwards and upwards and give it a run this weekend.
Just finally from me, just 63 last time you played on a Saturday in the
Only
Open in
two
Port
of them this
Rush.
weekend. Yeah, look, we'll see what the weather brings and see what happens tomorrow. But yeah, I'll go out there. I'll be a little bit earlier than I thought it was going to be. I missed the Lions game now, which is disappointing. Yeah, and I'll just do my best.
Shane, was the decision already made effectively before you even sat down?
I think they had their decision made. Yeah.
And what, they just explained it to you then, or
He didn't try. I don't think they tried to. I think they had it in their heads. The ball moved. I caused it to move. It was 2-shot penalty. Then he had one camera angle which was zoomed in at the ball. Did none of me actually full length, which we were looking for and needed. And yeah, it's just it's
an element? It must feel unfair, like
a little bit, but I'm not gonna if the ball moved and I caused it to move, it moves. 2-shot penalty. The last thing I'm gonna do is sit there and argue and not take the penalty and then get slaughtered all over social media tonight for being a cheat. Like, I'm not that.
Well, you're a player that's called shots numerous times.
I have, yeah, and I would have. If the ball moved, I would have called it on myself.
Yeah.
And my head was definitely looking down at the ball and I didn't see it moving, but I'm after signing for 72 there now, so...
What did you actually do to move the ball? Because the club head didn't go that close to the ball.
It was like that far from the ball. Apparently, blade of grass I hit and the ball moved a dimple or something, yeah.
Shane, is it okay by you that they tell you that on the 15th? And what's your...
I wasn't sure. I don't know, to be honest. I like I always say, I'm going to have to just sit back and kind of think about this now before I go to bed tonight. But yeah, I wasn't sure because, like, obviously you want to know if you're on the cut mark. But I went from feeling like, God, if I can make 2 or 3 birdies on the way in, which I felt like, obviously 15 and 17 were good chances, that, I can push up that leaderboard. And then all of a sudden I'm playing 16, 17, 18, feeling like I'm on the cut mark, even though, like, I was very happy to birdie 15. Like, that was a big birdie for me after what happened. But, yeah, I'm just going to have to take it as a bad break and move on.
Thanks, Shane. Thank you, Shane.
Cheers, lads.
Yeah, as we said, it was a pretty classy response as far as we're concerned. Just moving on to other aspects of the tournament. As we said at the start of this podcast, we were going to open with Rory McIlroy, who, still struggling off the tee, was 79th in strokes gained off the tee today, despite what was admittedly a better driving performance. But it was around a 69 that he, again, grafted so hard for. At the time, when he finished at the time, he was banging contention. He was only 5 shots behind Brian Harman. Now he's 7 behind Scottie Scheffler. And a lot of players between him and Scottie. Mark, can he afford to give Scottie Scheffler 7 shots over 36 holes?
In theory,
Can he afford to give him 3 shots?
In
over 36 holes?
theory, it's possible. Of course, it's the. So you're telling me there's a chance to quote Dumb and Dumber. I mean, realistically, it's highly unlikely. It's highly unlikely. I mean, Rory could go out tomorrow and shoot 63 or 64. There's absolutely no question about that. But realistically, he's probably going to have to shoot 64, 65, 64, 66, something like that. The way we expect Scottie to play over the last couple of days. So if you're gonna overturn a 7-stroke deficit, you're gonna have to beat him by 4 strokes one day and 3 strokes the other day. And then beat him in the playoff after that. He's not completely out of it, but his hopes are hanging by a thread. Now, strange. This is an Open Championship. The weather forecast for tomorrow isn't looking that bad at the moment. It's looking actually pretty decent. But weather can change, and I guess any Rory McIlroy fans are hoping that it changes after Rory's in the house and changes for the worse.
Yeah, he needs Scheffler to get a bad hour and a half of weather. But like it was funny, like yesterday on Thursday he got his tee shot away in the rough. Today he had a good tee shot as well, and it just scramble into the first cut, makes birdie, and you think, right, we're off. And then just hits this absolutely horrendous tee shot on the second. Like, he struggled with the lefts on day one, but it was definitely a two-way miss on day two. And he takes this drop, makes a hell of a 5, gets through the first, makes a bogey on 3, hits his first fairway of the day, hits his only his third fairway in maybe, I think, 20 holes at this stage. On the fourth, wedges to maybe 4 or 5 feet, gets the putt. Like, that's how easy the game can be. And then he's standing on the 7th tee, level par for his round, having hit only 1 fairway again. Like, it's just too scrappy of a start. And I don't think it's because of nerves. I think it's because he's genuinely just not playing well. Makes a bit of a hames of the 7th as well. Only walks off with a par. Like, you are losing strokes to the field when you're doing that. Like, it's hard to see him coming back from this. He's just not playing well.
Yeah, no, times that we've seen Rory come with a big charge up the leaderboard have often been times whenever he's been playing well, but he just couldn't hold a putt to save his life, and then all of a sudden all the putts start going in. Whereas this week, he hasn't putted badly.
He's put quite well.
He's put it quite well, but then he's missed some of the putts that you're like, well, could have been a big momentum putt there if he held that.
But he's putting the short game under such pressure because he's out of play so much.
Yeah.
And like, the whole fairways hit thing, it's a bit exaggerated because you could just hit a ball. If it's in the first cut, you might as well be in the fairway on a links course.
Like, the first day he hit 2 fairways, but he only just missed the fairway on 5, and he missed it in a way better spot. Like, he was in a way better place where he was than if he was on the fairway on the right hand side. So if he hits the fairway on the right hand side, he's got a really tough shot. He's just in the rough on the left hand side, and he's got a great angle in. So it was a way better position. The same thing went for 18 yesterday. He was just in the
grand drive.
So yeah, the stats can be a little bit misleading that way, but I mean, at the same time, we still all saw him hitting a lot of really, really bad tee shots. So, so the stats might be a little bit misleading, but they're not absolutely lying either.
Yeah. And like, we caught up with Rory after his round, and before we played the audio, as we take him with a little bit of context, Scottie Scheffler hadn't been going on the run that he went on during round 2. So at this stage, Rory was firmly in contention and was fancying himself for a run at the weekend.
Yeah, Rory had just come in. Rory pretty much finished, was coming down 18 as Scottie was going up 1. So Rory spoke to us within, you're talking 5 minutes of this, and the heavens had just opened. Rory got round dry until the 18th.
Till the 18th green.
And at that point, then all of a sudden, the rain started. You were like, oh, this could make things really interesting. But what happened was,
it made things easier.
The rain, the wind completely disappeared whenever this rain landed. So Scottie and Shane Lowry and those guys and all, they had to play a few holes in rain, which is never easy. But when the dried up between the showers, the golf course was absolutely there for the taking.
Absolutely. So we caught up with Rory after his round, and yeah, look, he's pretty bullish about his chances of going on a run, but that was before Scheffler did what he did. So we'll just play the audio back for you now.
Hi, Rory.
Hi, Rory.
Well played. Can you give us your thoughts on another battling day out there today?
Yeah, another solid day. Couple under, improved a little bit on yesterday. Hit it in play a little bit more off the tee, which was nice to have some looks, out of the fairway and into some of these greens. And yeah, it was a good day. I feel like I maybe could be a couple closer to the lead, but yeah, overall, in a decent position heading into the weekend.
Still very well placed. How much are you looking forward to what's going to be a really exciting weekend here in front of these incredible crowds?
Yeah, I'm excited for the opportunity. I didn't have that opportunity 6 years ago, so to play an extra 2 days in this atmosphere in front of these crowds, I'm very excited for that, and I feel like my game's definitely good enough to make a run. As I said, I'm excited for the weekend.
It looked like you were kind of getting really to grips with your long game towards the end of the first round and second round. It's like the crowd are almost willing you to play well and you're willing yourself to stay in contention, but when will you start kind of flowing?
I don't know if you can ever flow on this. Like, this golf course is very demanding. It's quite, visually intimidating off the tee. I think you see like the bunched nature of the leaderboard. It's one of these places where the holes where you have to make par, the holes where you have to make birdie, and it's everyone sort of has to play the golf course the same way. So everything becomes pretty bunched. Yeah, you can if you have a one of those out of the blue days and you can get it going, but for the most part you're just trying to pick off your birdies on the easy holes and honestly hold on with some of these really tough par fours.
Rory, you said in 2019 that you felt like you let the fans down by not making the cut. What does it mean to you to be here in front of people who have followed you your whole career?
Yeah, I think I let myself down more than I let the fans down, but I definitely felt like it was it was a hard pill to swallow, but at the same time I left myself too much to do. And then this time, I think I've gotten better. I know what I need to do to get the best out of myself in an environment like that. And I've been somewhat close to my best over the first 2 days, in little bits here and there. I'm gonna need to have it all under control and have it sort of all firing over the weekend to make a run. But it's incredible to play in front of these fans. I was saying to Tim Barter there at the Sky Kart, it was 20 years ago that I played the North of Ireland here, and never in my wildest dreams did I think that I'd be coming back as a Grand Slam champion with the support of a nation behind me trying to win an Open Championship. So count myself very grateful and very lucky that I'm in this position, and I'm excited for the weekend.
Thanks, Rory.
Thank you.
Yeah, so look, he'll have a big crowd following him now on Saturday afternoon. Look, from an Irish point of view, we're kind of relying on him now at this stage to pull up a few trees. But at the top of the leaderboard, we have to address it's Scheffler, round of 64, 10 under par. Matty Fitz, 9 under par. Brian Harman, who at one stage everybody was thinking, oh my God, he's going to ruin the Open again, walk off the claret jug, shoot a couple of deers and come back the next year. He's 8 under par with Haotong Lee, who in fairness to him was written off by a lot of people going into today, but he hung around really, really well. Rasmus Højgaard is 5 under par, as is Tyrrell Hatton, Robert McIntyre, Harris English and Scottish Open winner Chris Goddard. And with Scottie playing the way he's playing, Mark, you'd be hard pushed to go below that to find a winner or even a challenger.
Yeah, I mean, Scottie is obviously the big problem here. If that was, you could, if you went below 6 in the world rankings and just transported any name you want, swap it with Scottie's there, then we're saying this tournament's absolutely wide open. But because Scottie is the player that Scottie is, there is definitely a sense of independent doom that this is going to become a victory procession. We're all hoping it doesn't. And we're not saying that we hope Scottie doesn't win. We're just hoping that Scottie doesn't win in a boring fashion for us. We want drama on the last day. We want excitement, and we all fear that we're going to get the opposite of that.
Yeah, and it's funny, like Scottie's Open Championship record wasn't the best before coming into the week, and now he just shows nobody's safe from his just rampantness and his ruthless excellence. But like we talked about the weather today, he definitely got the best of the day, as did Lowry, but Scottie takes advantage, Lowry doesn't. But you earn your luck, I think, in an Open Championship, because yesterday there was a deluge of rain again for 2 hours, and Scottie and Lowry were out in that, and they got the worst of the day, and he still managed to go round in 3 under 68. Like,
Yeah,
it's so difficult to see him being stopped.
He's just so impressive. And I mean, yesterday Scottie only had 3 fairways himself, and again there was like we talked about with McIlroy, there were a few of those missed fairways that were great drives and put in good position.
He was happy with how he drove the ball.
But I mean, when you give that guy an iron into a green, and he's able to put control on that ball, he's just imperious at this stage. Like, he's by far the best iron player in the game. For years, obviously for a long time it was Tiger. And then we were like, Colin Morikawa is maybe the proper successor to Tiger's best iron player in the game thrown. And just Scottie's just come along and is just completely overtaken Morikawa in that regard as well. He's just so good. And again, so often, like, he makes, he does make mistakes, and more often than not, his mistakes are mistakes off the tee. And when he makes those mistakes, chances are he's going to put himself out. Like, his second shot is going to put him back in semi position where he can hope to make par because of his incredible iron play and his incredible approach game, his incredible short game. Like, he's just so impressive. That's the end. If there was a bit more excitement to the way he plays, like, we would think that this is the greatest thing in the world, that we've got this guy kind of dominating the game.
Yeah, like, it is Tiger-esque, because he got to 6 under pretty quickly. He birdied 3 of his first 6, and then birdied 7. And we were in the media center, and everyone was saying, "This is over. Scottie has it won." And there's a Tiger-esque, sort of element to it all. But like, just looking down through the leaderboard, like, Matty Fitz, US Open champion, probably a surprise package to be up there in second place, just given how poor he's been over the last 12, 18 months.
Yeah, there definitely have been green shoots in the last couple of months. I mean, he played quite well at, off the top of my head, I think he played quite well in Scotland last week. And was it the US Open?
Yeah, he went well.
The US
there.
Open he played quite well at. We're exposing our
lack of knowledge here. But if you were to
lack of research,
if you were to pick
not lack of knowledge, lack of research.
If you were to pick a player, well, look, lack of research. When you're asked to do a pod at 11 o'clock at night, what do you expect? When you're looking through the pack, you got Hao Tong Lee, Brian Harman, 800 par, Hogard, Hatton, Bobby McIntyre, Harris English, Chris Gotterup. If you want to go below that, you can mention Tony Finau, Nikolai Hogard, Captain Fantastic, Keegan Bradley. Then Rory McIlroy would be probably the limit as far as you go. If you had to pick one name from the pack who might, go around in 66, 67 and at least launch some sort of a challenge, who would it be?
I mean, I think Bob McIntyre is maybe one of the top danger men there. Bob's probably going to have to shoot. Yeah, he's probably going to have to shoot 65 tomorrow, and hope that Scheffler doesn't shoot any lower than 68. Basically, this again is given the conditions that we're expecting tomorrow, which are going to be reasonably benign. It's hard. Like, I mean, the par 5s are all going to be reachable. There's a drivable par 4, and Scottie's going to get 4 par 3s where he gets to stand on the tee, put his ball down on a tee peg, and take a swing with an iron, which like, you just expect him to stick the ball into about 6 feet, 10 feet in that scenario. So yeah, I think it's Bob McIntyre. I mean, Matt Fitzpatrick played incredible golf today. I mean, if Fitzpatrick wasn't chasing down Scottie, you would say you're giving him an absolute brilliant chance. Go on. But he hasn't won in quite a while. And for these guys, and particularly when it comes to majors, like winning can be a habit, and the guy that's won more often than not, the person that's won a lot of majors, that has a history of winning majors, they're going to be the one that's going to deal with the pressure the best.
We're going to wrap up this podcast. Just talk about the rest of the Irish. We should mention that Royal Portrush club professional Gary McNeil won't be making his second weekend appearance at the Open, as 70 players made the cut. So it'll be Matty Schmid of Germany and Corey Connors of Canada out in the first group tomorrow. A couple of groups just to go through will be Bryson DeChambeau and Nathan Kimsey on 1 over par. Like Bryson DeChambeau rounded 65 today to make the cut. Like brilliant performance. Just shows he can play links golf, and he just needs to figure it out over the course of 4 days. Larry's going to be out with John Ram at 11:30, so that'll be something to get in for early on if you're hoping to come up over the weekend. Few missed cuts from an Irish point of view. Obviously 2 of the 5 made it through, but 3 bowed out early. Tom McKibben missed out by a couple of shots on 3 over par. Funnily enough, felt this could have been his best major finish, just the way he played, but he made a couple of silly mistakes and it did cost him. Taryn Clark missed the cut on +6 and Harrington on +9. Look, disappointing for the 3 of them. Just Mark, your quick reflections on that.
Yeah, I mean, look, Porrick is always going to feel that he has got a chance of winning an Open Championship. Darren may not quite harbour the same hopes and expectations that Porrick does, but Darren is still definitely more than capable of playing links golf, and there was kind of some rumor, some thought that this might be his last Open Championship. He told you yesterday that he doesn't think that's going to be the case, and I mean he made the cut at Troon last year. He wasn't a million miles away from the cut again this year. Like, as long as he's able to compete, then he 100% should keep taking his exemption. I think he's got 3 left after this year. By all means, I hope he plays out the string. But yeah, Tom is going to be the one that's most disappointed. He was coming in playing well. He played well yesterday. Was temporarily had his name at the top of the leaderboard. Now he was out obviously in the first group, but I mean we're talking sort of like through 7-8 holes. Just didn't finish his round out well yesterday and got off to a good start again today, but it was mistakes in the middle of the round. Just didn't really get it going, I guess, is the thing, and the couple of mistakes he made cost him big time. So he's like, it's gonna be a long time. Could be probably another 6 or 7 years before he gets a chance to play an Open Championship in Portrush again. May even be longer if Port Barnack happens to come into the rotation. Chances are that that'll set things back again. But yeah, he'll be going away very disappointed this week. He'll probably be the most disappointed of the 3 that missed the cut. I mean, Porrick was disappointed. We talked with him afterwards. He was very disappointed, but at the same time, Porrick's been around long enough to know that some majors go your way, some don't. Plus, he had a very obvious highlight for the week, which was hitting that opening tee shot, birdie in that first hole. He said that he's pretty happy to forget in the following 35 holes, but at least he has a real amazing standout memory. Tom's gonna have a couple of great memories, making an eagle the first day, the reception he'd have got and everything. But his whole career is ahead of him, so he'll be looking to get back and do a lot better the next time.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's a fair assessment. Look, it's gone midnight after day 2 of the Open Championship. It's been another 17 or 18 hour day for myself and Mark, and we're going to head off to bed now, and hopefully we'll be back on Saturday for a recap pod. If not, definitely on Sunday for a recap of what we fear could be a Scottie Scheffler possession. But if he stops Brian Harman from winning the Open Championship, it could be the lesser two evils. So we're gonna head, and thanks for listening, and we'll hopefully chat to you over the weekend. Bye.